So you'll notice in that first section of the video that I went ahead and did that transcription memorized. The reason I did that is I think it's important for you to try to encapsulate the sound, the style, the sense of phrasing, the timing, the articulation, all of those different elements of a soloist which can't exactly be captured with notation. And so, you know, I like to try the transcriptions I'm really digging into. I try to memorize them so I can get as close as possible to the original. And in doing so, I'll find out some things that are specific to the instrument that sound cool. So, at any rate, let's talk about some of those things. When I was first working on this transcription in early college, by the way, this is a very easy transcription to play for a younger player. So I oftentimes advise, you know, my students for an early blues transcription to check out Frankie and Johnnie. But at any rate, as I was checking out this transcription, I noticed a couple against the grain type of things that you would use if you're playing like a bebop or hard bop tune. And I want to talk about those today. So the first is at the very beginning, he's kind of hinting at a turn, but he doesn't actually play a turn. Let me just show you in bar 1, instead of playing stock positions, it sounds pretty rigid, doesn't sound like it swings very hard. Another way would be to go against the grain and catch the B flat and fifth. Okay, that's quite a big movement. So actually what he's doing is something very close to like a Baroque musician would do on a brass instrument. He's tricking your ear into thinking he's doing a turn by just catching the partial above on his embouchure very lightly. So like if I do that B flat in second position slow, it would sound like not too good. But if I just barely catch that partial, it sounds like I played a small turn there. Okay? All right, let's keep going. If we look at bar 10, we'll see that he's doing an actual turn. He does this quite a bit where he'll go against the grain and then come back. So if we look at that E flat on bar 10, the high E flat, he's playing that in third, and I bet you he's playing that F in 4 and then coming back to third and just breaking across the partials like this with no tongue. Okay? In fact, you can break all the way to the D in first. All I'm tonguing is that E flat. Okay? Let's keep going. So we have a little bit more involved turns at bar 17. You notice that we have that turn on the D flat, and then later in 18 we have the turn on A flat. And I'll show you how we do this. So the D flat is in second, and we're going to the E flat in third, and then we're coming back, catching second, and going all the way to the B flat in first, like this. Okay, same thing. For the next term, we're doing A flat and third, going to B flat and fifth, catching the A flat and third, and going back to F and first, like so. Okay, so to work on this, I developed the dizzy atmosphere exercise, basically playing the first couple bars of dizzy atmosphere. Okay, you can do the same thing on the A flat. Anyway, you get the idea. It's like you're just basically isolating that turn over and over. Okay? Right, let's keep going. So the next thing I want to talk about is sometimes he's ghosting notes. He's just ghosting notes to add a little bit more of a swing phrasing. You're not supposed to really hear the note. It's just kind of part of the lick. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This is very common in like bebop type of phrasing. If you're looking at bar 26, that F that has the X in it, I'm showing you that he's just barely catching it in first position. Okay, barely touching the F in first. All right, and in doing so, I'm just tonguing the A flat and the B flat. I'm just catching the F against the grain. I'm lip slurring it. So, again, you can isolate that one little effect. And you'll find yourself doing this quite a bit as you work on your bebop heads. Okay, let's look at a little bit more complex example of this. If we look at bar 45, you'll see that we have some ghosted notes on the second eighth note of 45 and 46. Now, if I was to play stock positions, this is what 45 would look like. You can just touch that partial that has the G in it, and you don't necessarily have to play it in fourth. I'm playing it somewhere in the neighborhood of third, and as long as you're just barely touching it, it'll sound okay. Now here's why this is important. If we look at 46, here's the stock positions for that. It's too hard to just jump out there to 6 to catch the C, so instead I'm going to do it somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe second position. Barely touching that E natural, and actually I'm trying to trick the listeners here into thinking that I went all the way out to 6. Okay, so it's kind of that same sensibility we talked about before of like a Baroque musician trying to trick you into thinking that you're trilling on a half step on your instrument, but instead we're playing another position. We're just kind of hiding it, obscuring it a little bit. Okay, just a couple more things that I noticed in this piece. Like at 33, I think he's catching a B flat, just barely catching the B flat below the D to create those little scoop sounds. So instead of doing this, instead I think he's going. I'm not quite playing the B flat, but I'm almost playing that B flat. It's like I'm going. And I don't really have to scoop very much, and it kind of gets you a little bit tighter fall. Okay. All right, just a couple more things that I noticed. If you go to bar number 43, you'll see that I notated that with the slurs. I think this is really interesting. This is the type of thing you would not get if you were just writing the rhythms and notes and no kind of articulation or thinking about the way he's making the sound. I think what JJ's doing here is he's playing against the partials again. So he's playing B flat to G as a slur, A to F as a slur, G to E flat as a slur, F to D as a slur. And I think that's what's giving it that interesting sound. It's kind of like he's back tonguing, right? Do da-ya, 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 da-ya. So I'm just going to demonstrate that. Instead of Okay, this gives it a little bit more life and character. All right, one last thing. You know, in 49, that A flat to me sounds a little bit on the flat type, which is cool. It sounds good. And I think what he's doing is he's just playing that A flat in first position. So I think it's important to be thinking about, again, where these jazz artists are actually playing the notes on their instrument, because that's what helps facilitate the sound and the technique. And I think a lot of times you'll see, like, if you're playing like a funk lick or something like that that's going across the A flat, a lot of times you might play in first position, even though it's not exactly in tune. So check it out when you're practicing along with the recording. I'm pretty sure that's where he's at. All right, so I hope you found this video informative, and good luck practicing the JJ transcription.